So, Elden Ring. You want to unpack how it became this whole cultural thing?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just a popular game, that's for sure.
Right. Memes, art, online discussions. It went everywhere. But to really get it, we got to go back to where it all started, the Soulsborne genre.
Which, before Demon Souls in 2009, most people didn't even know existed.
And the studio behind it, FromSoftware, they weren't exactly a household name back then either, huh?
Nope, pretty small Japanese company.
Yeah.
But they definitely shook things up.
Okay, so Demon Souls, it was hard. Like, really hard. It had this mysterious story, and you had to really explore to figure anything out. That doesn't sound like a recipe for success. Weren't most gamers looking for, well, the opposite of that?
Pretty much, yeah. Back then, games were all about holding your hand. Clear objectives, tons of rewards.
Make it easy. Right.
Exactly. But Miyazaki, the director at FromSoftware, he had a different idea.
He thought making it tough was the way to go.
He believed in letting players figure things out on their own. Rewards for curiosity, that kind of thing.
So that's what made these games different. They were just hard.
Well, partly, yeah. Think about it, though. You finally beat a boss after like a million tries.
Oh, yeah. Talk about satisfying.
Right. And the story, because it was hidden, it was like solving a puzzle. You get pulled into that world.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. So not just instant gratification. You got to earn it. But there's this other thing that makes these games unique. This blend of Western fantasy, but also like Japanese storytelling too, right?
Exactly. You see Tolkien, Lovecraft, classic Western stuff, good versus evil, but it's mixed with Japanese traditions,
Yeah.
Creates this mysterious, symbolic atmosphere.
A world that feels familiar, but also totally alien.
Exactly. Works for people all over the world.
And then the themes. Perseverance, loss, cycles of destruction and rebirth. It's like relatable, even if you can't quite explain why.
Definitely. It's about the human experience. It's
Right.
not just winning or losing, but how you face challenges, learning from when things go wrong and finding a way to overcome it all.
All right, so let's jump ahead. 2019, Elden Ring gets announced. Gamers go crazy, not just because it's going to be this huge open world.
Oh, yeah, there was that too.
But because FromSoftware is teaming up with George R.R. Martin.
The Game of Thrones guy.
The hype was off the charts.
And here's the thing. Martin wasn't brought in to write a normal story, start to finish.
Oh, really?
Miyazaki wanted him to create the world's mythos, the history, the gods, the legends.
So, like, he built the foundation and then let the players write their own stories.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. I bet a lot of players, especially those who are tired of being told what to do in open world games, loved that. No set path, just discovery.
You got it. And this was all happening while the hype around the open world idea was building. Lots of open world games felt more like to-do lists than actual worlds.
I know what you mean.
People wanted something different, something that felt like an adventure, something that rewarded you for being curious.
And it looked like Elden Ring was going to give them that.
It definitely did.
So everything's in place. Excitement is at a fever pitch. And then, in February 2022, Elden Ring finally comes out. Huge hit with critics, amazing reviews, and
Boom. Over 12 million copies sold in the first 3 weeks.
that's insane. It wasn't just popular, it was an event. Everyone was talking about it, sharing stories, talking about epic battles, those "you died" screens.
Instant memes.
Gotta say, the timing was perfect, though. We're still in the middle of COVID lockdowns, people needed connection, escape.
A whole new world to explore without leaving the house.
Elden Ring gave them that, and more. It was something to bond over when everyone felt so isolated.
It definitely tapped into what people were feeling at that time.
But even with all that, the acclaim, the record sales, the captive audience, I feel like there's still something more to this Elden Ring phenomenon.
Oh, there definitely is.
It's the design, the community. There's something special there.
We're just getting started. Elden Ring isn't just a good game, it's a masterpiece of design and community.
All right, now I'm really interested. Let's dive even deeper into what makes Elden Ring so unique and why it captured the imaginations of millions around the world.
So the open world. Elden Ring does it differently. A lot of games, they just throw icons at you, quest markers everywhere.
Yeah, like they're afraid you'll miss something.
Exactly. No trust in the player to just, discover things. Elden Ring flips that. It's like, here's this crazy detailed world, go figure it out.
Less is more, huh?
Big time. And that's where the magic comes in. You find a hidden dungeon or run into a massive boss out of nowhere.
A feeling of actually discovering it yourself.
Way more rewarding. The world feels alive, like it's full of secrets just waiting to be found.
I get the appeal for people who love a challenge, But for those new to these kind of games, wasn't it a bit much?
Yeah, some folks found it overwhelming, for sure. Elden Ring's tough, no doubt. But it's got more options now, for players who might need a little help.
Oh, like what?
Spirit summons, for one. You can call them in during battles, which is a game changer if you're stuck on a boss or a tough area.
So it's not just sink or swim then?
Nope. You can tailor the experience a bit more now, play how you want. But one thing that really struck me about Elden Ring was the community.
Oh, yeah. It was massive.
Unlike anything I've seen, people sharing stories, strategies, memes. It was constant. And helping each other out, too, with tips or just celebrating discoveries together.
Like a digital campfire, right? Sharing stories and experiences.
Exactly. That's what makes Elden Ring more than just a game. It's a shared thing, something that brings people together.
Let's talk about some of those shared experiences. I mean, the "you died" screen, that was everywhere. And then you had "Let Me Solo Her," this player who just dedicated themselves to helping others beat Millennium.
That's right. One of the toughest bosses in the game.
It was amazing. "Let Me Solo Her" became a legend.
Talk about the spirit of the community, huh? And the "you died" screen.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, at first, frustrating, but it became a meme, a funny way to deal with the difficulty, the perseverance you needed to beat this game.
Speaking of difficulty, Elden Ring was tough, but it seemed to pull in way more players than the other Soulsborne games. Why do you think that is?
FromSoftware walked a fine line. It's still hard, but they made it more approachable for different types of players.
Those spirit summons helped, huh?
They did. And the open world, too.
Yeah.
Stuck somewhere. Go explore a different area, level up, come back later. You're not forced down one path.
Takes the pressure off a bit. But honestly, even if you didn't care about the difficulty, the world of Elden Ring is just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. The art direction is incredible. Every area is unique, memorable. Limgrave, Caelid, totally different vibes.
And the detail, you can tell they really put their hearts into this world.
Absolutely.
When I first got to Lendell, the royal capital, I was floored. The scale, the grandeur, and the music.
The soundtrack is amazing, right?
It sets the mood perfectly, whether you're exploring or in a crazy boss fight. But there's this other layer to the world, too. The lore. For a game that doesn't really tell you the story directly, it's got some of the most compelling characters and backstory I've ever seen. How'd they do that?
It's all about the environment. The clues are there, but you got to piece them together. Item descriptions, what NPCs say, even just the world itself.
Like a puzzle box just waiting to be unlocked?
Exactly. And people got really into it, debating theories online, figuring things out together.
It made you think, engage with the world on a whole other level, not something you see in a lot of games. So we've got the challenge, the world, the community, the deep lore. But Elden Ring also had this huge impact on the internet and even beyond that.
Oh, yeah. It's a full-blown cultural phenomenon now. Memes, fan art, music, even fashion and design.
People were wearing tarnished shirts, carrying flasks.
Like real-world stuff based on the game.
And the lines, "I am Millennia, Blade of Miquella, and I have never known defeat."
It's everywhere.
Even people who didn't play the game know that stuff.
It's crazy how those little bits of dialogue, the images, took on a life of their own. That's the power of Elden Ring. It captured people's imaginations. But it also made people talk about game design in a different way, you know?
Right.
Like accessibility.
Right. Some people thought it was too hard, that it needed more features to help players out. Others said the challenge was the point, that changing it would ruin the artistic vision.
Tough debate.
Yeah.
No easy answer. But it's a good thing, right? A game that makes you think about these things, what video games can be.
So a year after it came out, Elden Ring sold over 20 million copies, won a ton of awards, including Game of the Year. It changed what open world games could be. But what about its legacy? What will people remember about Elden Ring years from now?
That's a great question. It's a lot of things, right? The design, the visuals, the music, the lore, the community. But I think it'll be something deeper, too. A reminder of that simple joy of discovery, the thrill of beating a challenge, the importance of never giving up.
And that's a message that goes beyond games.
Absolutely. It's about life. Embracing the unknown, pushing yourself, finding the good stuff in that journey of learning and growing.
You know, it's funny how that idea of never giving up, it's kind of baked into Elden Ring itself.
It really is. All those times you died to a boss or got totally lost.
And you thought, I can't do this.
But you kept going.
Yeah.
Tried different things, changed your approach.
And then finally, you break through.
That feeling, right? Like nothing can stop you now.
It's pretty amazing.
It's like human nature, almost.
Yeah.
We all face stuff like that in real life.
Yeah.
Setbacks that make you doubt yourself, things that seem impossible.
But then you push through using that same grit, that same determination.
And you get there.
So Elden Ring's not just a game. It's like it reflects our own struggles, our own victories. It shows us that the journey itself, even with the rough parts, matters just as much as getting to the end.
And that's a good lesson for anyone, not just gamers. In a world where everything's got to be fast and easy.
Instant gratification.
Right. Elden Ring says, hold on. The best stuff. It takes time. It takes effort.
So to bring it all back to you, listening right now, why should you care about all this? What does it mean that a game like Elden Ring blew up the way it did?
I think it shows that people want more than just surface level stuff. They want things that make them think, that stick with them.
Things with depth, meaning.
Exactly. In a world that can feel kind of shallow sometimes, Elden Ring offers something real.
Something that makes you work for it.
And when you do, it's that much more rewarding.
Think about what you're working towards right now. A tough project at work, maybe. A creative goal. Something you really want to achieve. Elden Ring proves even the hardest things can be done. One step at a time.
Learn from your mistakes. Don't give up.
You can get there, so take that Elden Ring energy with you. Embrace the unknown. Push yourself. And remember, the journey, that's where the good stuff is.
Don't be afraid to test your limits.